Hey, good evening. Welcome to Resource Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Please continue to like, share, ring the bell, do whatever that you do to help this channel grow. I do appreciate you. I want to read something to you, and I got notes here, so I beg your pardon. This is a Twitter quote from the climate change and trader, John Kerry. We are already seeing climate refugees around the world. If you think migration has been a problem in Europe in the Syrian war, which it was, wait until you see 100 million people for whom the entire food production capacity has collapsed. 100 million people moving and looking and migrating, searching for food around the world. And that was his tweet on March 9th, 2022 on his Twitter account. So John Kerry knows what's coming. He sees it. They've planned this. And then Joe Biden, the buffoon in chief, on March 24th, makes a statement saying, warns of food shortages coming. Now, why all of a sudden are these two traders warning us, the American population, that food shortages are coming? They're saying, well, it's because of the Ukrainian war. Well, Joe, if you want to stop the war and you want to end, Russia dominance right now, what you'd have to do is start oil production here in the United States and start shipping it around the world. And that would drive the prices down and make Russia go broke. Then, if the people of Russia want to overthrow Putin and have a rebellion, then they'd be free to do so, instead of you making a statement in Poland saying he cannot remain in power, and then every head of state and every secretary of state, including ours, is having to take a second look at what you're saying, and then the United States is having to walk back that statement saying, no, he really didn't mean that, including Joe Biden. The guy's a fool. And he should be given a cognitive test before he does anything else, because sooner or later, somebody's going to take him seriously and start a war that's not intended, only because he doesn't know what's coming out of his mouth. But I digress as to the coming food shortages that's going to happen. I'm going to give you some statistics as to why they know and why they are at least warning us of the food shortages that are coming. Russia and Ukraine together produce 30% of wheat exports for the entire world to feed on. That's gone. 15% additional is corn, and another 30% is barley. So if you're taking that percentage off the market, especially in Ukraine and Russia because of the war and whatever, you're taking that off the market. Somebody's going to have to make that up. And if we can't do it, then people are going to be hungry. And yes, there is going to be massive food shortages. And it's going to be the trickle-down theory, and I'll tell you why. Russia also produces 15% of the world's fertilizer, the stuff we use in commercial farming to grow our crops fast, quickly, and healthy. And we can put another crop in there right after we harvest the first one. So if Russia is producing 15% of that, and all of a sudden we're boycotting it, what do you think is going to happen? Food prices are going to skyrocket because the price of fertilizer is going to cost even more. And if it's not boycotting it or, stopping it, they're going to raise the prices to make up for the loss of the oil industry. So the new developing countries or the existing countries that are farmers are saying, hey, we need to buy some fertilizer from Russia, but all of a sudden the prices have doubled and tripled. We can't afford it. Guess what, farmers? Do what you can with what you have, because there ain't no more. We can't afford it. And when the fertilizer costs more here, the food's going to cost more, or they're going to cut back and not plan at all. Again, creating inflation and food shortages. So, yes, the elites know what's coming. They've planned it. They're telling us what's happening. And this is some of the consequences of the Russian-Ukrainian war and Joe Biden's gaffes. If he really wanted to stop this war, Joe Biden, he could flood the market with U.S. oil and drop their economy even further, make him come to the bargaining table. But Joe Biden isn't saying, "Hey, Russia, meet Zelensky and let's talk truce." You don't hear him saying that at all. All he's saying is we're going to retaliate if you go on NATO's borders. But he is not leading the world in peace talks. Not once. Not once has the United States stepped in and said, maybe we can have peace if we can broker it. Not once. They want this collapse to happen because it's part of their new world order. And if you think I'm sounding like some sort of conspiracy theory nut, let me give you some more information that you can do that. Since all this has been going on, China's been reading their tea leaves, figuratively speaking, and have started stockpiling what they need to survive. And that's been no secret. So now let me give you some statistics. China's been stockpiling since 2019. We all saw that. And they currently hold 80% of copper inventories from around the world. Think that wouldn't make a difference? 70% of the corn. Here we're busy selling them. All our corn, exporting it. They're paying top dollar for it. The farmers are super happy about it, but they now have 70%. And when the food shortages occur, which they will come this fall, you think they're going to sell us any corn? Nope. They're going to use it to feed their families. They're going to use it to feed their livestock. They also have 51% of the wheat inventory around the world. They have 46% of the soybean, 70% crude oil inventory. You think they're worried about climate change? Hell no. They're buying even more from Russia at discounted prices, as well as India. They don't give a damn about climate change and pollution and everything else like that. They don't care. Their main goal is world domination, and they're achieving it thanks to our stupidity. They also control 20% of Earth's aluminum and rare earth minerals used in our prescription drugs that they make over there and export to us because they hold all the shares. And now they're also looking at Afghanistan for their minerals. They're also looking at mining in Russia, buying shares of Russian mining companies because they're having to liquidate. Jamaica is looking to go a republic, and the Belt and Road Initiative through China. China's already in there negotiating with Jamaica for ports of harbor, as well as British Bahamas, as well as Belize and everybody else. And we're sitting back on our thumbs. Joe Biden is removing the tariffs off Chinese products sold here in America. He just removed 300 and is not prosecuting any industrial spies at our universities. He stopped that. So he's given China the green light to do whatever they want. And do you think for 1 minute we are going to intervene if China moves on Taiwan? Do you actually think we're going to intercede on that? China is watching us. And they're saying, you United States with that buffoon in chief who doesn't even remember what he was saying yesterday and denies he said it, do you think he's going to intercede? And that incompetent Anthony Blinken negotiating with Iran for their nuclear materials and saying Iran's never going to have a nuclear bomb. Sorry, Blinken. Hate to tell you, bud. They already said they are processing enough uranium to put it on one of their ballistic missiles that they already have. These people are fools and incompetent. But they do know one thing. The agenda for the New World Order, which is stated in the United Nations, what's going to happen. And they want to decimate the population by reducing the size of the carbon footprint. And when more people come up from the border and flood America, we're not going to be a country anymore that we recognize. I want you to think about that. John Kerry's worried about climate change instead of world war, and Biden is saying, yeah, there's going to be food shortages, nothing I can do about it. Thank you for liking and subscribing. I really do appreciate you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I wanted to investigate it before I ran my mouth. It's coming, folks. And if you're not prepping and stocking up on food and grains and everything else, I would do so as much as you possibly can. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Get yourself right with God. Get baptized, submerged in water in the name of Jesus Christ. Greg out.